It is the Fatboy Show on RX Radio, and I have good news for you. Finally, Daniel Omara, I watched Avatar, Way of the Water.
I thought you were going to surprise me with money and just be like, Daniel Omara, I got you.
Well, I might do that too.
Ooh.
But
I'm listening.
First, let's talk about Avatar.
Okay.
So, of course, as you know, the sequel to the 2009 blockbuster turned out to be an equally big blockbuster.
I've seen.
Of course, that's not an easy feat to accomplish.
Twice. Yeah.
For a film whose sequel came out, how many years later?
13 whole years.
13 whole years.
Like the time between these two movies has been the length of my entire career.
Wow. But you can understand, when you watch the film, you can understand why. Because it is a technical marvel. The things they were able to do visually, my goodness, James Cameron is quite a gifted craftsman when it comes to cinema.
He doesn't play. But
having watched it, I must say, if you put the visual spectacle aside, the story is weak.
Really?
I wasn't impressed by the story.
I was wondering. I haven't seen the movie yet. But my question always was, where are they going to go from where they left it?
I understand that they are expanding the universe of the planet. Pandora planet. And I think the next chapter is going to have to do with another race of Na'vi.
And another element.
And another fire. And I don't know if it was one of the writers of the Avatar cartoon who, upon seeing that this one was called Way of Water, they were fearful that the next one is going to be related to a fire nation.
I would not put it above beyond them.
And it looks like that's what's going to happen with the next Avatar.
Yeah.
So that's going to be very interesting. But some people think that it's an allegory for colonialism, and well, to call it an allegory might be an understatement. The director himself has spoken about how he, in coming up with the Avatar, he was thinking about the Europeans conquering America and so forth.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of politics injected in it, and
that's why it didn't win an award.
Maybe.
Okay, the first one. It's one of the reasons I think the first one didn't win an award.
Because
put up against, at the time it was what? James Cameron's wife's movie, The Hurt Locker.
Okay.
Yeah, they came out at the same time.
Right.
And the US needed to push a military agenda.
Oh.
Yeah, so giving an Oscar to a movie that critiques colonialism, the cruelty and brutality of it, and the destruction that comes with it, versus a movie that praises the US Army and the forces, because it was about a bomb. What are they called? I was going to say bomb dislocator.
They were what do you call it's
explosives
called?
Expert, I think.
Right.
Yeah. So one of those guys, and they're plight in Afghanistan or Iraq.
They would disarm these IEDs.
So that got the vote, of course.
Yeah.
At the time. I think now, I would like to think Avatar should have won, like maybe in this woke age where wokeness has taken over.
Because it is super woke in many ways, right? But I feel that I do have an issue about it that irritates me, and it is that they have an obsession with nature. Like the running theme of the film is nature is beautiful, should be left untouched. And so the Na'vi are the so-called noble savages living in nature, living off the land, and just sort of existing almost like your what do you call it? Your indigenous underdeveloped community you may find anywhere in Africa or in Latin America, South America, places like that. And
Papua New Guinea.
Right.
Yeah.
But I don't like the fact that whenever they do that, they neglect the fact that nature is also deadly. And in fact, modernity is what has brought a lot of a higher quality of life in many instances. Like showing people living in a forest may look romantic, but it's not all fun and games. You're dealing with snakes, you're dealing with predators, you're dealing with... All you have to do is to watch one wildlife video of animals tearing each other to pieces
in the Amazon,
or in the savannah, or in any national
or
park,
even underwater,
to lose any, for you to just disabuse yourself of that naive notion that nature is peaceful and beautiful, and that it is man that brings evil, that man is the most destructive species on the planet. Excuse me, have you ever seen a video of wild dogs tearing up an impala to pieces?
Yo, I saw them eat a buffalo while it was running.
Yes, they eat them when they're alive.
No, there's being eaten alive, but then there's being eaten while you're mobile. Like someone just grabs your booty and bites off a chunk and says, keep running, I've got what I need. Someone else finish off his toes. Like, nature is cruel.
Nature is cruel, and I wish Hollywood didn't romanticize it the way they do in a lot of these films, like Moana. It's almost they worship nature. There's a worship of nature, almost like in Avatar's case, nature takes on a divine form.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Gaia of sorts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like in the absence of and having been part of atheist groups in the past, I always thought to myself, human beings are always religious. You may not believe in Jesus or the God of Abraham, but you're going to believe in some other religion. And many secular Westerners have found the worship of nature to be its own religion. Environmentalism, its own religion.
Greta Thunberg would love this movie, I think.
I think she would.
Yeah, she would enjoy it so much, especially the clean water.
The water was so clean.
I've seen the trailers.
Like the ocean water is like water out of a mineral water bottle.
It's
like not even a shred of plankton.
Nothing. I'm like, this water is clean. This guy's water is so clean. They look like they clean it. Like, it's like they had a purifier system for the ocean. I was like, oh, this water is fresh, man. But no, I think I'm going to have to settle down and check it out, because my worry was sometimes I see a movie and I'm like, this ended really well. Leave it there. Avatar was one of those movies for me. I was just like, don't go into a second one.
I think the notion of happily ever after needs to be reintroduced to movies. We don't need to see what happens after that.
Let's stop on the wedding reels.
Right. Yeah. Because usually the continuation is never as interesting as the origin story.
Yeah. So it's a thing, because I think, and maybe I'm wrong, I saw something like they brought back one of those characters who are supposed to have been dead or something like that. Yes. And just from the trailer, I saw this one avatar that looked like someone from the previous movie, and I'm like, no, they did not. And it's one of the things I was worried about. No spoilers, but I'm fairly certain, because I've avoided every review of this movie so far.
Okay.
I caught something about the making of the swimming scenes and all that, and how they actually did it underwater this time, so it looked better than the first. But that's the most I've seen about the movie.
Well, I was able to watch the movie yesterday because it finally showed up in some of our favorite places on the internet. So, but having watched it, I found myself constantly thinking, had I seen this on the large screen, it would have probably been more impressive.
No lie.
And Avatar is the kind of film you need to watch in a cinema.
In a quiet place with a very, very, very
3D.
big screen. 3D.
All that good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, let us know what you think about the Avatar Way of the Water. If you did see that film, tell us if you liked it or if not. And are you looking forward to the next installment of Avatar? Is it also going to come out in another 13 years?
Man, I don't think
Or did they shoot the two films back to back?
This time I don't think so.
Did they? They did that. The way they did the Matrix sequels.
And the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Right.
Oh.
Okay, I guess we'll see.
Well, tell me if it's worth my money, man. I'm looking for something to spend on. I'm thinking maybe this could be it.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, do keep listening to The Fatboy Show. It's your number one station, RX Radio.